Welcome back to the Babbling with Besties podcast. I'm Akasa.
And I'm Melly.
Welcome back, guys.
Welcome. How are you guys? We're doing okay, I guess.
Right?
Akasa, what did you do this weekend? No, this past weekend.
Oh, you know what I did? I went to see.
Um,
I finally got something that I remember doing. um, I went to go see Avengers on the big screen at the Hard Rock Cafe because I
mm-mm.
love that movie. So
What, Endgame?
yeah, Endgame. And of course,
Oh,
it was sad because you saw Iron Man die, and then Black Panther came on, so that was like extra sad because R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman.
yes. First and foremost, RIP to the king.
Yeah,
That was so sad. When I first seen it, because some people they quote unquote die like 3 times,
mm,
and they still be alive because people just put rumors out. So when I first seen it, I was like, they need to stop doing that because that's messed up. Like, why would you say somebody died when they didn't?
right,
And then I seen somebody say, no, it's true, whatever. And then I start seeing more and more and more. I'm like, oh shit. And he was so young.
right.
It's just sad. Well, R.I.P. King.
Yes. My son's school is actually doing well all week. They've been doing stuff on Black Panther and his other movies. So he played Jackie Robinson in 42, and he played James Brown and in Get Up, and then he also played Thurgood Marshall. I forgot the title or the name of the movie. I think it was actually called Marshall. But he played like a lot of black historical figures. So they've been doing things all week, kind of referencing like his movies and like the people that he played. And actually Friday they are gonna show the Black Panther movie to the kids, and they told like all the parents this to make sure the kids dress up in like their favorite superhero characters. If they want to dress up with as Black Panther, that's fine. But if they don't, they can dress up as like Spider-Man or Captain America, whoever. So I thought that was beautiful.
That is awesome.
Mhm.
I hope everybody dresses up as Black Panther, though. That would be like a real nice tribute.
Right. I'm making Zay. I was like, Zay, you better wear your pajamas because he has Black Panther pajamas. So I was like, you can wear your pajamas. And he was just like, but I want to wear like some random character that he had. I was like, no, dressed up as Black Panther.
This is for the cause.
Right. How was your weekend?
um, what did I do this weekend? I did nothing. No, you know what? I did do something. So I didn't have the kids this weekend, and JB works every weekend overnight. So, excuse me, I was home and I did nothing but drink and binge watch Black Butler, which for those who don't know, Black Butler is a anime show. It's old. I mean, I it took me forever to start watching it. It was always on my bucket list, but it's an awesome show. I will say that. But yeah, so that's what I did all weekend and laundry.
Of course. I
Huh?
said, of course, daily chore or weekend chores.
I'm telling. That's like it's like every other day, literally for me. I just put another load of whites in the laundry today, which I got to switch it because it has Alana's karate uniform in it. But
Mm.
that's not here nor there. But yeah, it's like so. Whenever I watch, well, I love to watch anime. Anybody that knows me knows that. Akasa, you know that.
Mhm.
But the issue that I have is that some of them are, which I would prefer reading the subtitles and hearing it in Japanese than having it dubbed where it's all in English because it's usually not correct or it's just not right.
Mhm.
So but if I'm doing stuff like around the house, I need to hear it in English so that way I can still follow along and multitask. So I'm now at the third season where like the first two episodes were dubbed, but the rest of it is subbed. So I'm like, well, damn! Like now I got to sit here and actually like read and watch it. So I can't do anything else, or I might miss something. And so yeah, so I haven't gotten a chance to finish this season, but it's awesome. So people that haven't seen it need to see it, and we just need to have like an episode for anime appreciation because it's fucking awesome.
Right. See, I'm just now getting into anime. Like, I was telling Melly this. I started the last Avatar, which I'm now the biggest fan, even though I just like finished the season or the books, and now I'm watching Legend of Korra, which is the the child series. I don't know what you would call it, like the branch off series to the
Mm-hmm.
last the last Airbender. So it's pretty good. I actually like Avatar better than the Legend of Korra because Korra be on some other shit sometimes. But I am gonna, after like I finish that, I am gonna start looking at like Naruto and like different things. So not that I've never watched anime before, because like when I was a kid.
Wow, you didn't know that you
Yeah,
watched
I was just
anime
like, I thought it
before.
was just a cartoon, but Melly was like, no, you need to know the difference between anime and cartoon.
Well, listen, okay, so this is what happened. So Akasa was like, "Oh, this is my first anime," and I was like, "No, it's not. It can't be." And she was like, "Yes, it is." And I was like, "So you never, when we were younger, you never watched like Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Digimon? Those are all anime." She's like, "Really?" I was
I
like,
didn't know.
"Yeah."
I was just like, oh, okay. But I really like when I was a kid, I loved Dragon Ball Z. Like just to come home, the way they would finish it off, it was dramatic. Like, oh, is Goku gonna find all the Dragon Balls? Is Boomy?
Find out next on the next
Yeah,
episode.
like it'll be so dramatic. You as a kid, you're like, oh, what's gonna happen? So every day I come home from school, I'm like, let me put on Dragon Ball. So and then I love Sailor Moon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And then there was another one that I kinda like, but it was just like something to put on too. But I was just like, I didn't realize, or maybe I did, but just didn't consider. I don't know. It was just weird. But I did watch it
You
when I
know, like you probably didn't even notice.
right.
But you know what? Ever watched Yu Yu Hakusho?
Mm-mm.
You might, if you've seen the characters, you probably be like, okay, I know what that is. I might not have watched it, but I know what it is. And there was another one that was out. Oh, Cowboy Bebop.
I heard
That
of
was on.
that. It was on Adult Swim, right?
Yeah,
I never watched it, but I
adult.
did hear about it.
Whatever it was, same channel. But yeah, like those are still anime.
Right.
There was another with like robots. I didn't like it, so I'm drawing a blank, but I can't remember what it was. But it was out when we were younger, so
Yeah.
like you don't when you're younger, you don't really think about it as like anime. You just think of it as a cartoon.
Yeah.
But there is a big difference.
Yeah. I didn't know. I was just like, I just thought it was a good ass show. Cause I used to love coming home and watching like Dragon Ball Z. I forgot when Sailor Moon used to come on, but I used to watch that too. Like I love those shows.
Yeah, Sailor Moon is a shit. I love Dragon Ball too. I know last year me, JB, and one of our mutual friends, we went to the movies because um another Dragon Ball movie had came out. I don't know if it was just called Brawly, but or if it was like Dragon Ball Brawly series. I forget. Whatever the one that came out last year with Brawly. It was awesome. We went to see it in the movies. I was so excited. You should have seen me. I look like a kid in a candy store. So I hate you. So today's topic we are talking about friendships and Wait, what are we talking about? Okay. So, so today's topic is about friendship and whether you can maintain that friendship while having like different point of views and different morals and different um, political views. Sorry, guys. Too much wine.
Right.
So, Akasa, what are your thoughts on which one do you want to start with? Let's start with that.
Well, I guess morals and values kind of go hand in hand. But I'm more so it's a case by case basis with me as far as morals and values, because you can have, like, I have conversations with a lot of people that might think differently, but as long as we have a common respect for each other, so that, like, if we do have that a conversation where I might disagree with you, come off disrespectful, or I'm not being disrespectful, then we can still respect each other's views and still come together. Because the bigger picture is we're still friends. Our friendship means more than how we view certain things, So, the only deal breakers for me, if like people harm children, or like, for example, I stopped talking to one of my friends recently. Well, it was probably a couple months ago, but, and I mentioned it before, like, I had a guy friend that every time we were riding in the car, he would comment on, or like, even like being with him, he would comment on like teenage girls' bodies. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? Like, you're not that, those are still girls underage. Like, they're still children, they're teenagers. So why are you lusting
Right.
after a teenager, a person that is under 18? Like, that's not cool. And of course he disagreed. Like, he was like, it's not that big of a deal. But to me it is, because I
It is.
was a teen once, and of course, like, girls have all these different things that they kind of like hold on to, like, they see these, like, they see rappers, like, the girls growing up now are seeing Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, or whatever. I think as a grown woman, it's fine if you understand your body, and you're free as far as your sexuality. But for a teenage girl, that's not okay. So, and even if she's not sexual or not trying to be sexual, it's still, there's still people out there that will still comment on young ladies' bodies. So that's what I don't, or not young ladies, but young girls' bodies. And that's what I draw the line. Like, I'm not doing that. So that's like one deal breaker. And then there's others, like, like I said, if you harm children, if you are disrespectful as hell, if you are very closed minded and you don't want to like learn and grow, even if you don't actually see someone else, or don't actually agree with someone else's point of view, but at least you're open to having that conversation, and not just being like, oh, that's stupid, and just write it off. So yeah.
I agree. I mean, I cut people off for much less. But I try. I try to open mind. It usually takes a lot before I start cutting people off. Um, Depending on the person, especially like if they mean a lot to me, then it takes a lot. But I have very low tolerance, especially like even like prejudice
Mm-hmm.
views. I don't tolerate anything against homosexuals. I don't agree with, or bisexuals. Anybody in the LGP, LGP. I'm murdering it. You guys
The
know what I mean.
LGP.
Anybody, anybody in the gay community, I don't tolerate that. Especially since I'm a part of that community, I don't tolerate that. So I will cut you off in a heartbeat. I won't compromise. You can sit here and say, okay, well, it's for men and women. Marriage is for men and women. I think differently. But if you're that close-minded that you think that people just don't deserve to be happy with whoever they fall in love with, then I can't deal with you, because if I had decided that I was going to marry a woman and you feel that way, you're not going to be genuinely happy for me. You know what
Right.
I mean? So I can't that type of stuff I can't be around. I don't want to associate with people like that. I'd rather stay with people, associate with people that um accepts everyone.
Right. And plus, it's like marriage is for people that want to get married, and that's for anybody. Like whoever wants to
Yeah,
get married. Not all straight people want to get married, so it's not like that. Whole argument is just dumb. But that's another topic.
another topic for another day. But I'm just saying, like, those kind of friendships I don't need in my
Right.
life. Like, that I can't tolerate. Um, your morals are different, but it's on a different type of different. Like, if you want to be out here and be like a free spirit and experiment with whoever and however many, it's not my body. As long as you're not being dangerous with when you're around me, fine. But if you're putting me in danger by doing whatever you're doing, then I have to exit. But if you're doing what you're doing in your own house with your own body, that's up to you.
Mhm.
You know, I can still be your friend.
Right.
Just don't bring me. My husband is not gonna understand this bullshit. You're going out with who? The what? Oh, okay. Get your ass back in this bed.
But that's the thing, because it's just like we're all individuals. So I don't like. I'm friends with. Well, I have only one friend that is a sex worker, and I don't really care what she does, like as long as she's safe. But I know for like if I was in a relationship and like my husband or my boyfriend was like, "Oh, you can't go out with her," the hell I can't. Like that, I'm still because that's not gonna always lead to me doing something. Because
Right. What this person to do with
yeah, like
me.
I know myself. I know I'm not a well, I like to think I'm not a promiscuous person. Like I have sex that happens, but as far as like,
I would like to think that.
like I might be a hoe some days, but 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 it's just like, okay, you know, my last relationship, if I were to go out with someone and it was just like, oh, you going out with this person, I would be like, yeah, like I'm still gonna go out regardless of how you think about it. Like you can go because that person was my friend way before you. Like I'm not gonna just play her just because you feel some type of way.
Right. I agree.
Why?
That I agree. That's another topic that we got to discuss is like, what do you do when your significant other, that could be your husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, whoever, like, what do you do when they don't like your friends or like your best friend? Like, what would I do if JB didn't like you?
Oh, still hug hug him.
I Whatever, he's friends with people that I don't like. Most of his friends I like, but there are some people that I spoke on it before that are quote unquote his friends, and I like if I seen them in the street, I might try to fight them, like because I despise them that much. But you know, um, but that's another topic for another day. Yeah, I think that's a good thing to talk
Mm,
about. All right, well, let's talk about political
go
views.
forward.
I Now this topic came from a conversation that me and Akasa was having, because I thought about it. Like I heard of the topic on the Breakfast Club, and then I brought it to Akasa, and I'm like, listening to what they had to say. I think Charlamagne was saying that he could, and he does have friends that like vote for Trump or voted for Trump or see his views. And DJ Envy was just like, no, like no, I can't fuck
Right.
with you. So, and I was like, you know what? Let me ask Akasa what she thinks. So that's why we're talking about it today.
Yeah, it's. I don't know if I could be friends with a Trump supporter because it's not because there's a difference between okay, you're a Republican and you voted for Trump, but you voted for all those other presidents just because they're Republican. But it's different when it's like it's Trump because he has the most narcissistic, backward ass fans that don't give a shit what he can kill a child and they'll be like, well, I mean, he
The child deserved
yeah, it
it.
was Thursday, so give him a pass. No, like he is trash, and I'm like, I try to be open to everybody's opinion and stuff, but some things I'm like, I can't deal with because I don't like talking about politics. Honestly, I think like you know we have less. What? How would you say? We have like Donald Trump and then Joe Biden, and then one of them are the less of the two evils. Like they're both kind of bad as far as like what I've seen, and but
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, I'd rather vote for Joe Biden because fuck Trump. Like that's something like I'm not voting for Trump. Um, but at the same time, one thing like I wanted to bring up is like what Ice Cube said recently is no matter if it and Killer Mike said this too, no matter who's in power, what we need to do is say, what are you gonna actually do for us? I don't care what Trump tweets out. That's none of my concern because it's gonna be a bunch of bullshit anyway. But what is he actually gonna do? And what is Biden gonna do? Because right now we're kind of like, okay, we either jump off a cliff or jump into a volcano, which which is better, or which are we're gonna live through. So, but as far not to get too far off track, but I don't know, as far as like someone being for Trump is kind of like I already know how you think, and you are very like to me. Trump supporters are very passive about um certain things. Yeah,
Every
like just things that like you could like I said, you can bring up the fact that Trump was in little girls' dressing rooms or the beauty pageants he used to do. I don't know if he funded it, but he used to be in little girls' beauty pageants backstage looking at them getting dressed, and the way he lusts after his own daughter, like he's disgusting. And it's like are you really for that? Like no.
See, this is my thing. So this is why I can't be friends with somebody that supports Trump, and it's because most of like they said, oh well, his policies. Most of his policies were from like they're from a bad place. Like the whole build the wall thing was because of his hatred of
Right.
Mexicans. It wasn't even. I don't think it was really the immigration because it should be across the board. He should just leave it as immigration, not Mexicans.
Right.
And they're doing this, they're doing that. You're being racist. You're a racist person. So you're saying, okay, well, yeah, well, he has immigration policies that he wants to fulfill. Okay, but they stemmed from racism. I can't get behind somebody that gets behind that. And how could you overlook it because you like that policy? That doesn't make sense to me.
Mm.
Because you can sit here and say, okay, well, Biden, this is what I expect of you. This is what I don't like that's going on. We're allowed to say what we want to say, or what we expect of our president.
Right.
So pitch that to him. I don't think he's gonna be like, oh well, the Mexicans,
Mhm.
and Africans. Like who talks like that?
Yeah. And the
Like
rest of these Trump
all of
supporters.
yeah, exactly. Which are fucking Getting my words. They're fucking racist.
Mhm.
And if they're not racist, they're prejudiced.
Mhm.
You know, and it's not even just that, it's just like all of the stuff that he spews out of his mouth. It's just pure, like, just hatred. I can't get behind people that get behind that. I'm sorry.
Right.
And if you can't even listen to what somebody else has to say because no, you're wrong, you're wrong. You could be sitting here telling them a fact, which most people do, giving them facts after facts after facts. And they will close their ears and say that's not true just because it's something negative about Trump.
Mhm.
That makes no sense at all. Like, no. Y'all can keep him and keep your asses over there. If you come over here, it's gonna be an issue because you're like, I could just imagine what you say about, me, my family, whoever, um when you go home or to the next support.
Right.
I had an old lady. She's like, I don't know, now she's probably like in her 90s. This is like 6 years, maybe not 6 years ago, maybe like 5 years ago, when I was still working over, um, not far from my house. And she, like, all I said, well, you know what? It was 4 years ago because that's when Trump was running against Hillary, right?
Mhm.
So, um, she was saying, "Oh, like going in," and I don't talk politics, especially like not at work. You're not supposed to anyway, but like it gets really ugly. So she's sitting there, her husband's standing behind her, and I'm sitting across doing her registration, putting in her blood work, whatever her order was, and she was like, "Yeah, Hillary, Hillary, Hillary," and I was like, "Well, Trump is no better." When I tell you this bitch almost jumped across the table to try to get face about it,
Mhm.
like, yeah, I'm about to lose my job because let her put her little crooked ass, old ass finger in my face.
And you know
It'll
what?
get fucked.
They like I hate people like that because I know this is off topic, but as far as like people coming to your job and fucking with you, they know where they're at. They know that at a job you can't really say the things that you want to say. Like say if you had the same conversation on the street, it would went totally different. But
Mm-hmm.
because you're at your job, like when I was working for that eye doctor's office, it was like people would come in and just say just the dumbest shit. And of course, I had to smile. I had to put on a face because I couldn't like really engage. But in my head, I'm like, bitch, if you don't get the fuck out of my face before I slap the shit out of you, like, who? Like, I don't
Right.
give a fuck. I don't care how people feel about like I don't get why people feel that way about Trump or very passive about things that he does. But at the same time, it's like you do that on purpose. You're literally gaslighting people just because you want to complain or you like nobody asked you for this fucking conversation at all. Like I remember I was
Mm-hmm.
at I when I first moved down here, I worked in like Norcross. And I was working, and this is right around the time Beyonce did the Super Bowl, and it was Beyonce, Coldplay, and Bruno Mars. And the lady was like asking me all these random questions, not necessarily about the Super Bowl at first, but just make it basic conversation. And then she was like, "Did you watch the Super Bowl?" And I was just like, "Well, I watched a halftime show." And she was like, "Well, what did you think?" I was like, "Oh, I thought it was amazing. Like it was not like you all know I'm a big fan of Beyonce." So I'm like, I thought it was amazing. But even like Coldplay did good, Bruno Mars did good. So she was like, I don't know. I think Beyonce was a little bit too political because she just had too much, like she looked like the Black Panther, like just complaining. And I'm like, I did not ask for this because I knew she was trying to get that anger out of me or something out of me.
Eyes out of you,
Yeah,
yep.
like just gaslighting. And I'm like, I don't really even care to have this conversation. And it was like where Norcross is, that's a lot of Trump. Like that's very Republican up there. So I would get a lot of those people that would just come in and just, hey, how you doing? Oh yeah, the weather's nice. What the hell you think about Trump? Trump is great, right? No, he's not. And I would kindly say, no, I don't think he is. He actually sucks. And that would be the end of the conversation, because I'll be like, okay, let me take your eye pressure, let me do this, let me do that. Like, I would just skip over the conversation, because I'm like, if it was us outside, you wouldn't have this conversation with me. But you're using the fact that I'm at my job to to have this conversation, because you just want to say what you want to say.
Right, because if you see me outside, you wouldn't even brought it up.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't even probably even spoken to me. You're only speaking to me because you have
Exactly.
to.
It's so ridiculous.
That's how, like, another reason why, like, me and some of my patients are close, and then sometimes they're not, and you know, not just that, because sometimes they just have an attitude, but then that too, like, you come in here and you can always tell there's his supporters, always, because they're always over arrogant and always got a lot to say and cursing and flip the switch in a heartbeat. Like they are all like, I don't understand. Well, I do understand, but don't. I don't know. I mean, I think that there's far left and there's far right, but I think people just need to get a moral compass and know right from wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people are lacking that, common
Right.
sense. But I mean, it is what it is. I just know, like, at this stage of my life, I'm not tolerating that. Even like when the whole coronavirus thing came and people started like targeting Asians, and I'm not tolerating that either.
Right.
So, try me if you want to. See me in the street and do that shit in front of me, and I will be case. I would say something, and if you want to take it there, we could go outside and meet in the parking lot. I mean, it's just that simple. But I mean, I don't want to take it there. I don't want none of that to happen. However, I just don't have a tolerance for ignorance. I don't think people should just be treated bad for no reason. I just, I just don't. I just don't. And I can't associate myself. Say all that to say I can't associate myself with people like that. I can't be friends with people like that. Just, I have morals
Right.
for others.
And it sucks because it's like, there was a speech that Mahershala Ali did, right? And I wish I had it up, but I can't say it verbatim, but he actually won a award for Moonlight, which is a move, like, it was like a coming to age movie about this boy that was gay and how he got bullied. But Mahershala Ali played like a drug dealer in the movie that kind of helped him out with finding who he was, basically. So when he accepted the award, he said something like, um basically, when you look at someone, you have two options. You either look at them, understand them, and you kind of come together and you have empathy for them. And then the other thing is, sometimes you look at them, you disagree with them, and you want to battle, you want to butt heads. And then he got into how he converted to Islam, and his mother is like a ordained minister, but they put that to the side so that they can come together, because what is more important is their relationship with each other. So it doesn't happen, like, it's case by case, because like I said, like we said, we can't be Trump supporter friends. Like, we can't do, like, that's way too much. But other things, like, some things are just very minute and can just be talked over and put to the side. Like I said, I'm like the biggest Beyonce fan, but but Melly isn't, and that's okay. But we can put that to the side. We may not agree on the same things, as far, because like I said, I think Beyonce is incredible, but she doesn't. So that kind of is like a disagreement, but what's more important is our friendship and how we can come together, and all that other stuff is minute. It's not important.
Right, right. I agree. I definitely agree. But oh goodness, now all I can think about is anime. That's my happy place. All this Trump stuff it makes me want to watch anime.
He
So
makes my butt itch.
I
That's what he does.
I see him. He just the sight of him and his voice just makes me cringe.
You know what? The other day I saw this post. I actually reposted it, but it was this post on how there's a big lake down here. I've never been to it and never will, but there's a big lake down here in Georgia called Lake Lanier, and the history of it is fucked up because it was a black community, and they basically told them like, we're gonna take over the land and build this lake, and it was mainly for Atlanta's drinking water. But what they did was they took over that land, and the people that didn't want to leave just stayed, but they wound up killing them because they just put in all the water. They literally put water over people's houses. Like, you can see there was like a drought at one point. I don't know when, like it was like maybe a few years ago, but there's a drought, and you saw the water going lower and lower. You can see some of the houses, you can see like a racetrack. It's just like a sad history. So that being said, I will never go there because I believe in spirits, and there's been every year there's been people that have died, mysteriously died, not know like, oh, they we saw them fall off the boat and drowned or whatever because they couldn't swim. Like, they know those spirits are fucking with them. So I would never go there. But anyway, I say that to say there was a story on how a bunch of Trump supporters are going to this lake to have a rally, and I was just like, you know what? I'm all for that, because let them go to that lake and have some people fuck with
Mm, yes, them first and
let the
foremost.
Lord do his work. Like,
Exactly, and that's what I was saying. Like with the whole coronavirus and wearing a mask thing, it's like, you know what? These people that believers that don't want to wear masks, let them go out. Let nature take
mm,
its course. And I feel like if that's the case, they should have to sign a waiver that they should not be treated in hospitals
mm,
because your stupidity is not like, oh, you took every preventative measure there, but you deliberately refuse to wear the mask. Which, okay, whatever, that's your right, whatever. But it's our right not to have to put ourselves in danger because you don't want to follow the
right.
rules. People that, oh well, if he had just followed the laws or if he just listened to the police officer, he
But
wouldn't be
y'all be the
dead.
first one
Okay,
breaking them.
exactly. A mandate is still, I mean, it's not a law per se, but it's still, a authoritative figure telling you to do something and you're not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's okay. But when a cop just says something that goes against somebody else's right, they're supposed to just, listen just because, even though they did nothing wrong. But, that's not here nor there.
You should see all these people down here. Like, when our mayor first mandated that people wear masks everywhere, and the governor was trying to sue her, which is fucking stupid. But like, you should see like all those people that just going riding. Like, at one point on Moreland Ave, which is a very main street. You saw all the people just riding around with their signs and pickets, whatever the fuck, talking about, well, we're not gonna wear a mask. Like, I want to go get my hair done. First of all, you probably didn't even get your hair done before this coronavirus, so shut the fuck up and just wear the fucking mask.
They're
And they
dumb.
be going above and beyond, because it's not only that they don't want to wear the mask, they're argumentative about it. And they'll go in the store and say, oh, I want to go shopping. I saw a video where a lady was like, if you don't have a mask, we have masks up front, so we can give one to you in order for you to go shopping, but you can't come in the store unless you go shopping. Instead of respecting that rule, she's like trying to push past the lady, though the worker that was there, and she was like trying to shop and still, and then it got to the point where she started coughing, and I don't even know, you don't even know she has coronavirus, but she's like, yeah, yeah, see, just mocking. I'm like, are you serious right now? Like, you could have just left.
Mm.
You really could have just left.
I feel like people that do that should be charged
They
with
really
assault.
should.
I feel like that. But you know what? And I feel like, okay, so that's your right not to wear a mask, but it's the store's right to refuse to take you in when you don't,
Exactly.
period. So, and I hate when I go to Walmart and I see people walking around without masks. You don't see it that often, but there might be like one or two in there. Or they'll wear a mask just to get in and then walk around the store without one. And I'm like, employees, hello. I mean, I know there's only two of you, but do your job. But I
Mm-hmm.
guess they don't, get in trouble or they don't want a confrontation. Well, then they need to get the fuck out. Period. Like, I don't understand why that's such a hard thing to grasp. You're in a store for probably not more than an hour or less, probably like 10 minutes if you're just grabbing something. So you can't wear a mask for 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what if coughing all over the employee because they want to come in? What if a real COVID patient went and coughed on their mom, their elderly mom?
Right.
Would you still fight them?
Talking about I have a pre-existing condition. No, you have pre-existing stupidity. Shut the fuck up and get the fuck out
Exactly.
of the store.
Yeah, I mean I remember like seeing one of my old patients walking in Walmart. He's an elderly guy walking around in Walmart without a face mask on. Mind you, he's a Trump supporter, so that's number one. So
Oh
of
god.
course he doesn't believe anything. I seen him not only one time but two times walking around, and he probably gave an excuse. Oh, I have a condition, I can't wear one. That's a lie. First of all, I know your medical records. I mean, I can't say anything like that, but I do know his medical records because he was my patient. That's a lie. You can cover your damn face with
Mhm.
something. And he was harassing another phlebotomist.
Oh god.
So, for people that don't know, I work for a hospital. Well, I haven't really been working since March, but I did work for a hospital. Well, I still do, but and I'm a phlebotomist, of course. I work at an offsite, not on campus, not on hospital campus, but um, so he one day I was training this lady. Like, she knew how to stick and stuff, but I still had to train her. So he comes in, they, well, she's like, just being friendly, and he's like just all over her, like, oh, you look so nice. Mind you, he's married too. Let's start with that.
So creepy.
So she draws his blood, he leaves. He finds her on Facebook and starts messaging her and stuff.
Oh my god.
And like, we tell our first name, but we don't tell our last name, but our name tag has our last name on it. So he remembered her last name to look her up on Facebook.
Mm-mm.
I was like, you're fucking crazy.
Really? Like
I should
what?
tell your wife.
And that had when I was working in the doctor's office, that happened to a doctor I was working for. Like he added her because her name was pretty easy. Like she'll introduce herself as, first name and last name, but he remembered her too. That's the same thing that happened to her. She was like freaked out, and she's like, "Who is this?" She was like, "Oh my god, I think this is the patient I just saw." And I was like, "Oh, that is creepy."
Mhm. Oh my god! Speaking about creepy patients, I had quite a few creepy ones, but this one guy, oh my god! I mean, he was nice, but he was creepy because he would always come in, like, this older white guy. He was like in his like
Mm.
60s, and he would always come in and he would like stare at me and just like he would like talk, but he would like just stare at like my soul, and I was just like. Every time he would come in, he would always ask, "Oh, are you still married?" And I think he was
Oh my
married. I think on his thing he had that he was married. So we go in the back, and like when you're getting your blood work done, the person that's doing it, your phlebotomist, is close to
mm-hmm.
you. So we have to be as well, within arm reach, probably closer. So he's like literally like when you get here next week. Oh my god, I gotta show you. He's literally like a couple of like not even a whole foot away from my face because I have to be close up on him. And he's staring at me as I'm looking at his arm.
Oh.
And so gorgeous. You're so pretty. Oh, I love that lipstick on you. Because like occasionally yeah, and if I have like my eyebrows done, like I'll do like a little, wing and a little lip color going on. And yeah, I love. Oh, are you still married? Yes, happily married. Leave me go home. And then he would leave, and he'll come back with coffee for
Oh
me.
my god.
The Dunkin' Donuts and bring me a
I would have
coffee,
threw that
and
coffee away.
because I'm scared. Like, what if he put
No, I
something
was
in
about to
it? Like, I don't.
say, like
And I'd be wanting it so bad, but
mm-mm.
I don't drink it. And he's like, "Oh, do you want me to go get you something?" No, no, no. I ate already. If it's lunch, if it's around lunchtime, oh no, I brought lunch. Don't worry about me. If it's breakfast, I might not have eaten, but I ate that day because
Mm-mm.
of his knowledge. I ate. Like, no, don't please don't bring me nothing. But I did have like a lot of nice patients that brought me stuff, like lunch, like if they know that because for all of last year, now this is fucked up. All of last year, they took my second person because it's a two-person site. Like it's always supposed to be two people there, but since they were short staffed, they took Melissa away from me. And so I never got like a break or lunch. I had to work through it. So like I could sit there and eat, but if somebody comes in, I have to stop eating and take care of them.
Right.
Like a couple of times, like my patients that like I really liked, they knew that, or they'll say, "Oh, what are you having for lunch or something?" I'll be like, "Oh, I don't get a lunch," or I didn't bring anything. I might not have time to eat anyway, like that. And or they'll say, "Oh, is somebody coming to relieve you?" Like I'm not gonna lie, like I'm not gonna talk bad about the
Mm.
company, even though I could, but I'm not gonna lie either. Like I'm not gonna offer the information, but if you ask, I'm gonna tell
Right.
you. So, one guy, he's so sweet. He's an old guy, like late 80s. And he's like, what do you mean you're not gonna eat? Well, I don't have any. I didn't have time this morning to bring anything. So he goes to the KFC up the road to get himself something, and he brings me back like a drumstick.
Aw.
Like, what is it gonna do? But it was sweet.
Yeah, even though like you see
We're the
these
rest.
thick thighs. Like,
But yeah, no, he's a sweetheart. Oh, I miss him. And then I had one guy who came every week because he had to get his INR checked, his blood thinner medicine checked, make sure he doesn't, is clotting okay. And I'll always say, "Hey, blah blah." I'm not gonna say his name, but hey, blah blah. Where are you eating today? Because him and his girlfriend, they used to like go to different places and try different things. So sometimes they would go to the diner over in Easton, and then he would come back with like a huge, like I don't even know what ounce. It's not even a 16 ounce. It's like bigger than that. It's like a big styrofoam cup full of soup, his favorite soup, and like yeah. So he was sweet, and then like when he knew I was leaving, he made sure he brought me lunch one last time.
aw, that's so
He,
nice.
he Yeah, he's a sweetie. I miss him so much. He brought every for the past two Christmases he bought ornaments for each of my kids and a tin of cookies for each of them, and he wrapped them
Oh
each
my
up.
god, that's what I miss about working at a doctor's office because around like holidays are like some patients like you get familiar with. So like, you know,
Mhm.
as far as holidays, like people would just bring in all treats. Like this one lady would bring in lemon squares. Oh my god, they were, because I never really got into them, like eating them. Like I don't go to a bakery and be like, let me get some lemon squares. But like hers, oh my
That's
god,
the
hers
thing.
was so good. Like it was just like, oh my god, it was like heaven. I don't know what she put in it, but it was just, oh my god, it was so good. And then like another guy would bring in like what is it, yeah, peanut brittle. And then there was one patient I had that like me and him were just like talking, and he was like, "Oh, you got any kids?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, how old is he?" I was like, you know, at the time, like I met him, he was like 7 or 8. So he actually like brought in, like every time I would see him, he would bring in like little toys, because he worked for either like a cartoon place or like some toy place that would give out like different things. So he asked me, he was like, "What does he like?" And I was like, "Oh, he likes Black Panther, Spider-Man, like all those little Marvel things." And he was like, "Oh, really?" He was like, "Oh, cool." He brought in like a hat one year that had like all like the cartoon versions of like Marvel characters. Like Iron Man was on the hat, Black Panther, Hulk, and Captain America, all of them. And I thought that was the
No, that's
sweetest thing, because I'm like, oh my god, like who does that? Like, and he would bring
right.
it in like when we first talked about it. He came in, we talked about it, whatever, and then like a couple days later, he brought in the hat when he didn't even have to. He didn't have an appointment or anything. But yeah, so he brought in those hats, and I thought it was like so sweet. And then the next year he brought in at his appointment a Black Panther hat, because he remembered that my son liked Black Panther. And I was just like, when I tell you, like, they'll, even though like that job was like shit, like I hated that job, those things will make it worth being there, because it's like you don't normally see that. You see that from like your family and friends or whatever, but like, you know, strangers don't really do that, you
Right.
know. So it was just like really sweet.
Yeah, I actually two of my patients gave me their numbers. One, I didn't even get to tell her I was leaving, so I was so sad. But she was like, keep in touch with
Mm.
her. Um, and she had like knee. I think did she have double knee replacement? I don't remember. She might have had double knee replacement, but she was like really like having a hard time with like her health, and like we just got really close. I don't know why, but we just got really close. And her daughter was like a piece of crap and like just using her and all this other stuff. So like she would tell me that, she would like break down and like cry and stuff, and I would, like me being me, telling her like stuff and like, my thoughts. And I told you I'm like a counselor.
Right.
And like she, even though she had knee replacement, like she made sure somebody brought her to bring me like a little bag she had for Christmas, and a little candy cane with like a little gummy like attached to it and stuff. Um, so she was sweet. And I know she had to get something else done. And so yeah, so I really want to call her. I know I wrote her. She gave me her number, and I rewrote it down in a notebook. I don't know which notebook, so I gotta find it. And then I had this one black guy. He reminded me so much of my brother, and he was like a historian.
Ooh.
So like probably like, oh.
No, I would.
So
You know, I love history, so I'll probably pick his brain.
I know, and he would probably love it because I was telling him like that I was going back to school and stuff, and like he's the type that like he knows his veins, and he's like, well, I need a butterfly and this, that, and that other. So I'm like, okay, I got you. So every time he would come, he was like, oh, I'm glad you're here, whatever. We would just talk and stuff, and he gave me his number too, and just like, if you ever need it, he didn't even know I was leaving either. But he's like, if you ever need help with your homework, give me a call and I can help you, understand stuff. So I was like, oh, thank you, even though I probably should have, but well, with my last history class, I got an A, so I guess I didn't really need it. But still, like, it's like that, those kind of relationships, like that's why I lasted so long. Like, even though I wanted to quit like 3 years in, I still lasted like 6 years because I think it was the patience. It wasn't even the company. The company is kind of shit, but um they were lucky they had
Right. I'm telling you, these jobs, man. Like, sometimes they can suck balls.
big
Th-
balls, flapping.
That's another thing. Like, I mean, we got so off topic, but to get back on topic, what do you think about being friends with like your coworkers?
I think it depends on the coworker.
Yeah.
I think it takes to really get to know them, see what they're about, because I've been burnt by coworkers before. But then I've had like I told you my friend Melissa, me and her were friends, and you know what? Oh, we are friends, I should say. But you know what? When I was there first, I got the full time position there. She went. We both went for this same position, and I ended up getting it. So that's probably why she didn't talk to me for the longest. Cause she's probably mad. But like she was always quiet and like to herself.
Yeah.
So like when she got put there as the part time, like we had like our like little half cubicle things, like a registration
Mm.
desk, and so like I would be in my thing and like she would just be over there quiet doing whatever she's doing, and I would keep like trying to talk to her. I think I did this at like everybody that I became friends with, like keep trying to talk to them. Like I did the same thing with our friend Nicole. Like she was quiet into herself and she probably thought I was harassing her, but I was just like, kept, because like it's weird. Like we're sitting next to each other and we're just not gonna ever talk. Like that's dumb. Like
Right.
like let's at least see what we're about before we just be like, all right, well, I'm not giving her a chance. Like fuck her.
Mm.
So kept talking to her. We eventually got to a space where we could talk, and then eventually, like she was going through things, and her husband was going through things like health wise. So, like I remember she had like an emotional moment, and that's kind of when I was there to like console her, and she kind of like was like, okay, well, I guess I can trust her or
Right.
whatever. And even still, then like there was still stuff I didn't know until like the past year and a half ago. And me and her worked together for 4 years.
Hmm.
So like it depends on the people because you have to know if you can trust them or not.
Right. And then that's kind of hard because it's like if you cool, but then you still got to be careful because like you go out with this person and then say if you do something like I smoke weed, so but say if like I go out with my coworker and then she go back to tell my boss, then it's a problem because like, then I'm
Right.
like, okay, we gotta work together. I might get you put my job at jeopardy. But and then even if you are cool with that person and they don't really say anything, but then what if y'all fall out and then it's like, oh, let me go run back and bash her and tell her all or tell my manager all the stuff she been doing.
Right. Right. Exactly. Exactly. So that's why like I don't I don't know if I can like I always told myself and I told JB the same thing like when he changed jobs, like don't go in there looking for friends. Nobody really does, but you go in there and you start being ultra friendly and just gravitate, like go there and do your job. And I think going forward that's how I'm going to be, because like I like this one girl, I wasn't really trying to befriend her, but I was trying to be like cordial. I was trying to see what she was about, and I was just like, listen, honestly, because I'm an honest type of person. Like if I know that there's snakes in the grass, I'm gonna tell you like just be careful. Be careful what you say. Be careful what you do because I'm not gonna say who, but just be careful. And she went and said, wrote an email. I don't know, might have called. No, I think she wrote an email to my boss saying because we're supposed to stock every day, which I do stock every day. But you have to be careful because expiration dates and all that stuff. So I like to kind of run low and then restock instead of keep restocking and then it gets mixed in and stuff. And then the issue later on. But I do restock, and she gonna say, "Oh well, Melody didn't restock," and da 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 da. Like, what are you talking about? Yes, I did. So my boss, of course, gonna come to me and say, you're supposed to, and just make sure, I was like, I did. What is she talking about? And so when I confronted her about it, I text her. It's like, what is this? Like, why are you trying to get me in trouble? She was like, well, you always told me to be careful. And what are you talking about? Like, I didn't do anything.
Right.
She's like, well, I've always been getting reported for not stocking. I didn't
Yeah,
report
so
you.
why are you coming at me? Yeah.
Exactly. If somebody reported you, maybe you should go to those people. But since you want to talk shit, I mean, you're the one blowing out everybody's veins and carrying on. If you want to take it there, we can take it there because nobody
if
likes you.
if you really want to spill some beans, we can.
Right. Like, if you want to take it there, I can take it there. I've been sitting here lying, like saying, oh, because usually, like, when my usual patients would come in and I wasn't there, like, say I was out for a doctor's appointment or my kid got sick or something and she had to be there, they will literally tell me, like, she will come in and walk right back out because they seen that she was there. She's like a horrible stick. And that right there, I was just like, see, this is what I get for trying to be nice, and I should let her get stung, you know.
Right.
Like when I told you that, of course I wasn't talking about my fucking self, idiot. And guess what? She got fired.
Good.
Got fired like a month ago for pouring over blood. We're never supposed to pour over blood into other vials.
Oh.
Especially like, cause like how the vials are color coded.
Yeah.
So they are different additives in it, different chemicals, and some of them are like non-coagulant, and then some of them are coagulant. I'm saying it wrong, but you know what I mean. So,
Coagulation.
some of them will make it so it doesn't clot. So she must have poured over either one that she put in a non clotting tube into a clotting tube, which is not going to clot because the additive is already mixed in the blood, or she put in a clotting one and tried to put it into a non-clotting. That person can end up saying, like, they can end up saying, okay, well, they have a blood clot problem, or their blood is not clotting, so now they gotta go on like medication and testing and all this other stuff because this bitch did something fuckery. So that's the importance, kids. Pay attention to directions. But yeah, like I try to be nice to certain people and I just can't. And those are the type of people that I cannot be friends with. Like a lot of people that work in my department, you can't be friends with. I know maybe two
Right.
that you can, including Melissa.
That's another, like, okay, so I used to work with this girl. At first it was cool, she was cool or whatever, but she was like, cuz she was like in her 40s, right?
Mm.
And certain things, like, I don't care who you are, like, if you're doing something wrong or doing something that makes my job harder, I'm gonna tell you. I'm not necessarily gonna tell the manager unless you actually doing, unless I don't like you. And that we need to do it like a episode about like work coworkers. Cause oh, trash. But yeah, so
And employers that are trash.
yeah, that too. But yeah, so we were cool at first, and like I said, I don't like when people make my job harder. And I was really good at my job, not to brag, but like I just like to make my job easier so that I could just get on with my damn day. Cause I ain't gonna be, first of all, I ain't the type to be working all day. I want to get my shit done and get on Facebook or do what I would get on Amazon and start shopping. Like I don't have
Get
time to
on
be,
Facebook. Wow.
yeah, like get on Facebook. Like I don't have time, like here to be working all the time. Fuck y'all, no. So, but
Oh.
I would, like she would do charts, like prep charts. I taught this girl how to do it. I went over it with her like several times. When I tell you, because she worked there, I worked there for like 4 years, and she worked there for like under a year. Mind you, she would call out constantly, and it would be like bullshit reasons, like, oh, my son had stay home from school, but your son, because he, had a cold, but your son is like 15 years old. He's not a child. He's not a baby. So it's just like, I just, like shit like that. I'm like, okay, really? But, and then like she called out just because they changed her plan on Verizon. So she had to go to Verizon all day when she could have literally did that shit after work or did it, on her day off, whatever. Anyway, but and then what made me so mad was if she didn't do the charts, I would have to do them. And that's what I mean, making my job harder, because I trained you to do the charts because I had other things to do, like not just like the Facebook thing, like but they were training me to be a tech. And so I would not only do front desk, back desk, I would do tech work. So I would do different testing on them. Like I had a lot on my plate. So to ease that, we made sure like she did the charts. But if you call out or if you spend all day running your damn mouth and then the charts ain't fucking done and then it's 4:30 and I ask, hey, where are the charts? I need to put this piece of paper in this, yeah, such and such chart. It's like, oh, I forgot about them. Mind you, the charts had to be done for the next day. So here it is, 30 minutes before we close, you sitting there doing charts, and they're like, oh, well, can you just help her? Why did she do this shit all day? Like, and that would get on my nerves. And I'm like, I don't want to be friends with you. Like, I don't want to go out, because we would go out sometimes. But I'm like, I stopped all that shit because I'm like, you're making my job harder. And I would tell her that. And I didn't like that shit. And I'm like, you're not being considerate. You're calling out, and you know why you're calling out, and it'll be bullshit reasons. Even the manager would be like, do you really believe her? I'm like, no, I don't. But I'm not the manager, so I don't know what to do about that. But it would just be annoying because it's like, why the fuck are you making everybody else's job harder? And everybody just go along with it because half them people were lazy too, and they would make excuses. And like, I don't like when, if we have something to do, like, stop talking about it. Stop. We don't need to have a full fucking conversation about shit. Let's just get it done and get it over with. They want to have an hour long meeting on something that we could have just been handled in the morning.
Mm-mm.
Off on
You
my
tell me
tangent.
the fuckery that the other person, you know, they're that's not doing their fucking job.
Mm. And even like, I work with one lady. Oh my god, this lady was the lady from hell. But she had, just like I mentioned her before, she had died from the office, and she was like dumb, but she would do shady shit. So she would try to be your friend, and it was like some redneck white lady that fetishized mixed children. And of course, she saw a black person. It's like, oh my god, I have to be friends with them. So it was just like she would just come up to me and show me just random shit on her phone that would think, like, she thought in her mind that if she showed me, like, let's say it was Megan Thee Stallion, right? It'll be like
Mm-hmm.
Megan Thee Stallion on her phone. Mind you, she probably never listened to her songs, but she knows just because that's a black artist, she thinks I like, which I do. I love Megan Thee Stallion, but you're baiting me. You're like, oh, here's something I think she might like because she's black. Let me show her so she thinks I'm cool. And that shit would be, oh my god, it would get on my nerves. And if she wasn't like that, if she wasn't shady, I might have hung out with her after or whatever. But like, she was just trash, and I didn't trust her ass at all.
The trash, the trash.
Oh.
Yeah, no, that's yeah, shady people, trash people, people that don't work.
Mm.
There was this one girl that at my job before this job, and when JB was my manager. So like we was cool, like we was cool from day one. I mean, I wouldn't have hired her if I was the manager because she came to the interview with pajamas on, but
What?
that's not here. Yeah, that's another story for another day.
What the hell?
But I mean, just because you're coming to an interview with in a group home doesn't mean you can just like, even if you wore sweatpants. I mean, that's still not. I mean, I don't want you to put on a 3-piece suit, but be presentable. Like I said,
Right.
I wouldn't have hired her, and just like that, she was just exactly how she looked. So I was there when I was pregnant with, I want to say Junior, and I was huge when I was pregnant with Junior. He was huge, so I was huge. And like when I would do certain things, like I would start getting contractions, and like I really probably wasn't supposed to be working, but I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do it anyway. I don't know, was it Troy Jr. or was it the twins? Either way, I was pregnant with one of them. And when I tell you this bitch sat on the couch and did nothing, I had to do showers, make dinner, do meds, all while having contractions while she sat there and did nothing.
Mm-mm-mm.
And I was saying, oh my, I'm having contractions and stuff like that. She didn't care. And after that, I was like, you know what? I can't be friends with somebody like that. To me,
Mm-hmm.
like if I want to, and she did. It's not even like she didn't know that I was the boss's like wife or girl at the time. I don't know if I was married yet or not, but it's not like nobody knew. Everybody knew. So,
Right.
like, you would think that might have put some like fear in her heart. Like, okay, what if she tells? But like, not that I'm not like that type of person, but normally somebody might be like, all right, well, what if she goes and says something and now I get in trouble or get written up? But I guess they figured they knew that he wasn't going to. So,
Mm-hmm.
whew, excuse me.
Um.
So that, yeah, like that friendship ended.
Yeah. That's the thing. That's another thing I had to deal with. Like, I had a manager that would ask you to do something while she was not busy. And I will be in the middle of something. She'd be like I remember one day, it was like closing time, and she, now mind you, she was in school. Like, I forgot what she was in school for, but she was in school and then she would take different classes. But I was doing, like, I would order contacts and I would order like different supplies for the office. And while I'm doing the ordering, now mind you, it's the end of the day, so I'm like, I'm trying to get this order in before we close so I don't have to worry about it tomorrow. I'm doing the order. She's like, hey, can you empty all the garbages in the exam room? And I'm like looking at her. I see her book open, and then I see her notebook, and I look at her, and then I look at the notebook, and then I turn back around because I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, do you see that I'm actually doing work and you doing fucking schoolwork? Like, and then mind you, if we were cool, I would have been like, you know what? I'll just do it because I know you're doing schoolwork. But fuck her. Like, she was just like an ass. She was such an asshole. Like, and then she was very like, I know my privilege, and but I'm not gonna like admit to it. But like, she would say certain things, like we were talking about Donald Trump and his xenophobia, and she actually is from Sweden. She came over here. Um, I think as an au pair, but she illegally came over here and she admitted that to me. She was just like, I think when I came in this country, I was supposed to go to immigration or get like some immigration status. And she was like, the people that brought her here, like for a couple months, she was just living here illegally. So I'm like, of course she's not gonna get flagged down. And this is right around Trump was already president, and she's like, oh well, I I I just came in, and it's kind of easy to get it, but it was easy for her to get it because the people that she was working for paid for her to stay here. They paid for all that, and the immigration fees and everything. So of course it was easy for you because you didn't have to fucking pay for it.
Right.
But
That's
for other
crazy.
people that just want to come here, it's hard. It's hard. It's like all these fees that I don't know the exact fees, but I'm pretty sure it's a lot.
It's expensive, and I've known someone that their grandparents were here and waited 20. They have been waiting 20 years and still nothing.
Wow.
And they're trying to do the right thing.
And then
But
most
yeah,
of the time, I think is they don't want to give it to them, even if like you save all this money and stuff, and then you get to one status, then you gotta pay for something else.
hmm it's always about money, money, money.
Mm. You can date someone on 90 Day Fiance. You'll get over here easily.
Oh my God, we have to do another recap on 90 Day.
We do, cause
And
oh my
we
god,
have
what
to
a
do a
fucking
bonus
mess.
episode because the fuckery.
Like, oh my god, Lord, yes, we need to do that.
So I have two black owned brands. A little different today. A little different. I wish you could see what I was doing, but we're not gonna. I'm glad you did.
Oh
So
god.
the first one is Born and Bred the brand, and it's a marketing company that encourages entrepreneurs and guides them through like their just starting phases. And you can check them out at on Instagram at Born and Bred the brand. So that's BORNANDBREDTHEBRAND. And the other one is called Real Life Music, and it's a record label in South Carolina that supports indie artists of all genres. So you can check them out at on Instagram, of course, at your artist consultant. So that's at YOURARTISTSCONSULTANT.
Word.
So make sure you check them out. And I
Pew,
have
pew, 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 pew.
she be doing her like segments with different artists. So shout out to Mimi B. So yeah, make sure you check them out. Let me know how
Word.
you think. And don't forget, people, you can email us, DM us, any of that, comment in our stuff. Let us know what you think, or if you have anything that you want to put into the conversation. You know what we should start doing, Akasa? We should start doing polls.
Yeah, we should for our listeners. We really should.
Yeah, because we want you guys to engage more. So
Yeah.
we want to
And then plus, we're tired of seeing sugar daddies and creeps in our DM.
and graphic design artists harassing us.
I'll do a post for $5. I can do it myself.
Right.
Get out
For free.
of here. For the free.
And also, like, if you have a brand or if you have a company, which isn't that the same thing? But anyway, if you're an entrepreneur
No, that's not the same thing. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, whatever the case is, if you guys have something going on, let us know. You can come on the show and let us, interview you. Get
Yeah.
out there. We have quite a few listeners, so that's nice. Oh, and we have also Canadians that listen to us now too.
Oh yeah. Uh, more fire for your head top, as Drake says.
Oh god.
I don't know what a Canadian saying other than Drake. Oh yeah, Canada, come get Tory Lanez out of our country. That's
Wait,
what you could
oh
do.
my god, we gotta address that situation too next time. Oh my god.
Yes. Oh my god.
But yeah, make sure you follow us on Instagram. Oh, so we at our thousand on our thousandth follower.
Which we're pretty close to it.
Huh?
We're pretty close.
Yeah, we are getting close. We're like 960 something.
Mm.
So at our thousandth follower on Instagram, we're gonna do a giveaway. So make sure you're following us on Instagram. Um, Make sure you like and subscribe our YouTube channel and our Facebook. Follow us
Mm-hmm.
on everything, so you don't miss anything. Put your notifications on. Oh, and make sure you subscribe to our podcast.
Right, exactly. That's the main thing.
Yeah, more importantly, make sure you go on iTunes or whatever and subscribe. And then that way, whenever we have a new episode come out, it'll automatically load and you can just listen to it whenever. But if you have YouTube, you can listen to it on YouTube too. I just finally got around to uploading our last episode onto YouTube. So make sure you're doing all this stuff. And if you want to win some merch, make sure you're following us on Instagram.
Word.
Anything else for the people, Akasa?
No, my family's being fucking loud in the background, so excuse.
Every time Connor comes out and he starts eating his hay or like drinking his water, I'm just like giving him the death glare. Like, really? Right now?
Like,
Really?
shut the fuck up.
So ching 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 ching, or you hear chewing, and I'm like,
And he's probably like staring at you like, yeah, bitch, I don't care.
let me drink some more. I'm extra.
Right.
For everybody that doesn't know, Connor is our guinea pig. So
He's
yeah,
a babbling with Besties mascot.
right. He should be. Oh my god, that would be so adorable. He's adorable. I gotta post a picture of him on there so you guys can see him. All right, guys. Well, that's all we have for you today.
All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed the episode.
Yes, me too. I know we kind of went on a wild tangent, bouncing around, but that's what makes us us. We can talk about any and everything.
Right.
So from 0 to 100 real quick.
Exactly, and that's not out the norm because y'all be sitting with your friends talking and kikiing and one subject to another, so that's perfectly normal.
Kiki.
All right, guys.
All right, so we'll see you next week. Oh, before we go, one more thing.
One more thing after 3,001 thing. Go ahead.
So next week, 8 more days. Akasa will be here, and I'm excited. I know, right? Say it loud, say it proud.
Right.
So I'm excited. I'm super excited. I can't stop smiling. But hopefully, and I didn't even discuss this with Akasa, so she's probably gonna kick my ass after I say
I'm
it.
gonna be like, what the fuck, bitch?
So not next week, but when we record that following week, maybe we can do like a live.
Oh yeah, I'm down.
We
And
could do
we can do Faded Fridays. Oh, we got some good content coming for you guys.
yes, we can do Faded Fridays. Oh well then okay, well then that's settled. We'll do Faded Fridays. And not next week, the following week. Wait, no, not next week, the following week.
Yeah.
And also, if we record, well, we will be recording, of course, but maybe we can do like a video record for YouTube. So yes, you want to stay tuned.
I just realized I'm staying there for like 3 weeks. Like,
it's 18 days. Yeah.
I'm
It's like,
literally, bitch, you counted,
well, you're coming and you're leaving the 28th. That's kind of obvious.
Yeah, so yeah. I was looking at like, no, I wasn't
I hope
counting the
you
days
count.
though.
It's 18. 10
But
and
okay.
28.
I was looking at the week or whatever, it doesn't matter.
It's like 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
It's still 18 days. You need to be here like every days.
Right. Soon.
All right, so for real, we'll let you guys go now.
Right. They feel like, bitch, you don't shut up. All right. Bye, guys.
All right, guys. Bye.
Bye.